Hi guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night at 7 Eastern, which means it is time for a YouTube, nope, this is Facebook. I think we should do a Facebook video. Let's do that. Since that's what I've got over here on the left side of me, here is my Facebook page up. So I'm up. It looks like I am transmitilating. I see my arm moving. So here is what I gave you a sneak peek of this morning. This is a little tiny square box, and I had a request from one of my teammates. She had seen one on, I'm going to say the wrong name entirely. Hang on a sec. Nope, I'm going to say the wrong name entirely. Negeza. She calls herself Gez. She's from the UK, and she has a wonderful little English accent, and she made some very, very cute little treat boxes, but they were tiny, like 1 inch square. And my friend, hey guys, I appreciate y'all joining me. Hi Faith, hi Linda. My friend wanted to put more candy in, and I am always down for more candy. So she asked if we could try to get a 1.5 inch square. And I said, well, sure. And so I got my thinking cap on, and I did the engineering, and I came up with this little box. And you can see it's got a little thumb spot, and it opens up, and it's quite cute. And this one, you could probably put a Hershey's Kiss or two, or some jelly beans or something like that. But the one I also made, I decided I wanted bigger. And so I bumped it up to 2 3/4 inches square. They both use the Gingerbread Peppermints DSP. This one has a tag that's made with the Giving Gifts tags and tailor-made. And it's wrapped with a pretty bow. And then this one, I had to find a small sentiment, so I found Peaceful Cabins for You, and I made a couple of little tags with the ornate frames, and then a peppermint with the gingerbread dies. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm glad you like it, Karen. So tomorrow, when I post the blog, I will have a template, because what I thought is, what if I could show you guys how to make any size box you wanted? And so I really pulled out some real higher level math. I used my fingers and everything and figured it out. So it turns out that about the biggest you can make with a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock is 2 3/4 square. You could probably go a little bigger, but then you start getting into 7/8 and stuff like that. So that's what you want. I'm going to explain the formula here. The box size is whatever size box you want. So in this case, it would be 2 3/4. In this case, it would be 1.5. If you wanted a 2 inch box, your box size would be 2 inches. Okay, so you figure your cardstock for your card, or for your box, by multiplying 4 times the box size and adding 1/4 inch. And that is one of the directions. And then you take 3 times the box size and add 1/2 inch, and that will give you your cardstock. Okay, and then it's going to tell you where to score along each of the sides and whether you're matting or not. All right, and then you'll also find there will be a template. Hi guys. There will be a template for how to score. When I say box size, again, you just insert the number. So 1.5, 3, 4.5, etc. Okay, and then the final template shows what the piece will look like after you cut it. And what I recommend is doing what I did to figure it out in the first place, was to make a printer paper template. And then just keep this where you can see it, because it will help you know what to keep and what to cut off. All right, but you can see that this pretty much does that. These are a little bigger because I made these a little too small. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get started. I'm going to make another 1.5 inch box. So that means I have a 5 inch by 6 1/4 inch piece. And I'm going to pull out my score tool. Civil War game just finished with the Oregon Ducks on top. I'm catching you live. Okay. I'm not real sure what a Civil War game is, but yay. Also, UGA won today. Like I don't even think Georgia Tech showed up. I don't really even know what was going on there. It was crazy. Okay, so going along the long side, you are just going to score 4 times at whatever card box size you want. So in this case, it's 1.5. So I'm going to go 1.5, 3, 4.5, and 6. and you'll have a 1/4 inch left over, okay? Then rotate to put the short side at the top, and you're going to start with a 1/4 inch score, and then, let me make sure I got that right. It felt a little bit crookedy. Okay. So 1/4 inch, and then you're going to add the box size. So I'm going to add 1.5 inches, which means I'm going to go at 1 3/4, 3 1/4, yep, 3 1/4, and 4 3/4. Again, on this side, I have 2 1/4 inch tabs, and these become part of the inside of the card, or the box. I'm going to say card, just know I mean box. I've been saying card for 5 years, okay? Alrighty. Alabama did not show up either? Well, I guess Georgia is playing Alabama next, so, you know. All right, so here's our template. This little piece right here is going to be kind of our North Star, if you will, okay? We're going to keep it like that, always like that. So the first thing I'm going to do, now don't get freaked out because I've now designated these as my paper scissors, because it's nice to have, for what we're fixing to do, it's nice to have a little longer scissor than your paper snips. You're still going to use them, but this helps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the edge up to the first score line on all of these boxes, and I'm going to cut twice at each score line, 1 on each time, okay? Because what we're going to do, 1 on each side, I'm going to go right to there, and then I'm going to set my scissors on the other side of the score line and go up like so. And that's going to leave a little gap there, all right? That's going to help make our box nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of these, and then I'm going to trim that with my paper snips and do a little trimming with that. So really I'm only using these large scissors for this section, this portion of our agenda today. All right. Well, I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and have recovered from whatever food coma / meat sweats you might have had. Oh, Marilee, I'm glad to see that. Yay! Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Right against, I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, but I am just cutting right on either side of my score line. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm cutting the score line out. And you can see that's leaving a little gap. It makes it go together nicer. You might normally be doing some notching and cutting and flapifying, but you're not going to do that on this box. You're just going to cut these little slots out. All right, one more, una más. And then I'm going to have to put these scissors down and take my hoodie off because I'm in too hot phase right this moment. That's awesome. As soon as I do it, I'll probably get into cold phase. Hello, Betty from Wisconsin. Are you chilly in Wisconsin yet? I saw a game, I don't know what, Michigan? Was it Michigan? And it was blizzarding like, it was crazy. You couldn't even, there was one team in white and you couldn't even see them. Okay, so I'm going to take my paper snips and just snip the very ends of these little tab doohickeys off. That's what they call them in the industry, tab doohickeys. Now, I thought this was kind of a fun thing to be able to make any size you want. Because that'll be handy as we come into the holidays. Okay, so again, I've got the 1/4 inch on my right side so that I can keep track. So that means what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to actually get rid of half of it, right? So these two are going to go away entirely. So we'll go ahead and just cut those off. Like that. Okay, and then, see, you can always just go back. Okay, so this is the one that goes away. You can fold these out of the way so that you don't accidentally cut off the wrong thing. You don't want to cut off the wrong thing. Well, I mean, you could, but then you just have to fix it and do it again. Now you can hang on to these because you can cut your little tags with it. Okay, so you can see it starting to come together, right? All right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and fold that down and give it a little burnish. And I'm going to cut little tabs in it. So all I'm doing is just making a little like that. You could use a corner rounder if you wanted. I like tabs on these. I'm going to round some of the larger ones, okay? All right, so let's come back here. Now, on this one, we're going to cut it about halfway off, like so. And then you could use a corner rounder if you wanted, or you can just do like I'm fixing to do, which is just a quick curved fussy cut, because it's easier than pulling out a rounder. All right. All right, so there's that. And the opposite side is the same. Just going to cut it halfway or so. And bend that out of the way and give that a little cut. All right, so we're starting to see it coming together, right? Can you see it coming together here? Okay, so now I'm going to tabify this side. Like that. It's all college. I didn't see any professional games today. I didn't see any professional stuff today. I think there's like an unwritten rule or something about you have to have college. I don't know. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut straight across here, because you can see this is another one of the little tabs like here, okay? Here, let me use this one. I made a red one that might be a little easier to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here and give it a round off like so. And this is going to be cut like so. All right, and then let's see, we'll go here. About halfway. Half of the tab is pretty good. Okay. And then we'll give this a little snip. Cut this. Now, I found it very helpful to make myself my little printer paper template. So you might find it to be the same helpfulness. My husband is watching the new Hawkeye series on Disney in the other room. I will always watch Jeremy Renner. Certainly will. Hey, Tanya. Hi, Kathleen. Appreciate you joining. Jean, it really is pretty easy, but this is also the third or fourth one I've made. So make it with printer paper. Trust me. You know, you always get those prints that aren't good, that have 1 or 2 or 12 that just don't work. Trust me. Just use them. Okay, so I've got this, and now I don't know which one I was working on. Oh, it's this one right here. Pretty sure it's this one. No, I think it's this one. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now is we are going to make all of our folds. Make sure we've got good folds. And in order to put this together, all we're really going to do is I'm going to put some adhesive right here on this little tab. Remember our North Star tab? I'm going to lay it down like this, and then I'm going to fold it up like so. Okay? Before I do that, though, I'm going to make sure that is quite straight. I'm going to go ahead and put my DSP on. Now, on my sample, I did not matte, but I like to matte, and so I thought I would try matting with my large one, the 2 3/4 one, and I like how that looks. So I thought, what the heck? I will just try it and see what happens. Okay? All right. There we go. Now, what I did, I have some of the gingerbread, and I've got, and this is all in the little cutting guide you'll see here. This example doesn't show a mat, but if you do a mat, all you do is you take the box size and subtract an 1/8, and that's your mat size. And for your DSP, you take the box size and subtract 1/4. So in this case, we have a 1.5 inch box. So my mat is 1 3/8, and my DSP is 1 1/4. Okay? If I did that, is it 1 3/4? It's 1.5, so 1 3/8 and 1 1/4. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put DSP on what will either this or this will be. Wait, I better start. Let me just keep it all oriented the same way. Okay, this will be the top or this will be the top. Either one can be. Okay, it does not matter. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere these with some liquid glue. Hey, Karen, thank you, dear. It really was not very hard. It was actually kind of fun. I used my fingers and everything. I haven't used my digital calculator like that in a long time. All right. Yeah, box ties would be fun. We do have a couple of cute ones. They're just kind of tiny. And I like that this one, I mean, 2 3/4 inches big is not huge, but it's big enough for a Christmas ornament. It's big enough for, you know what I think? Have you guys seen those chocolate oranges that have the orange flavored chocolate, or you can get raspberry and they're like an apple size? Might fit in there. It might be a little big for the box, but it might fit. I don't know. You could check. And if it didn't fit, you could just eat it yourself. Just, you know, throwing that out there. All right, I'm going to fix that little tab right there. I don't like that. All right, and all I did is I've already matted these, obviously, right? Duh, on basic white. I thought that made a nice little contrast with the red. All right. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you pick DSP that has an up and a down or a left and a right, ooh, hot cocoa bombs, very good idea. Then you need to really think through how you put these on, okay? So if I had ups and downs and lefts and right, I would probably fold it a few times and hold it like that, and then lay it down and adhere, and then fold it and lay it down and adhere. And then with that one, you would also have to pre-decide where top and bottom was. Right now, it can be either this or this. So what I'm going to do is get all of these on and then decide which one I think looks the better, and that will be the top. And the other one will, perforce, be the bottom. All right, so there we go. And actually, I think they both are about the same. So you can do two things. If you have a 1/2 inch hole punch or a 1/2 inch circle punch left, those are retired, so you know I don't have it. You can use the top of the snowman builder, and we're going to cut a little thumb hole, and you want to push everything out of the way so that you don't inadvertently punch some, you know, more of anything anywhere at all. And you just want to barely touch it in and kind of visually line it up side to side, and then give it a punch. And there you have your thumb hole. Okay, and if you need to trim it a little bit, just trim it. There, it's good. Okay, so now, as previously advertised, I'm just gonna make sure these are all good and folded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my liquid glue right here. Ooh, bath bombs. That would be good. Vicki, this actually doesn't take very long. Once you get kind of on a roll, the thing that takes the longest is, I mean, it just takes a minute, but it's pretty darn easy. So I've just put some glue on there and laid it down, and then I'm folding the other side in and giving it a little bit of a burnish. You could also, if you wanted, use tear and tape here. Okay. And then you can see it kind of just pops open like so. Like so. Okay. And I'm going to fix this because I did a just spectacularly horrible job cutting that right there like that. So we're going to fix it a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's close. Okay, and then this is the bottom. And you can, if you want, put a little bit of liquid glue right there and close it up. Don't need to, it fits pretty good. And then this closes and you've created your top. And if you've got a little tab there because you didn't quite get that trimmed off, just snip it. Snip it, baby. Snip it good. Okay. Okay, so here's what I did for my tags. I have the For You from Peaceful Cabin. Thanks, y'all. For You. And it's big enough for the little tiny tag in the Ornate Frames dies, and that's the one I used. Ornate Frames is kind of a nice little go-to. So it's this tag right here. And what I did is I cut a red one out of one of the little scraps, and I stamped this in Old Olive and cut it with the same die. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Thanks, Carol. Put a little bit of liquid glue on the red one. And I'm going to adhere them together with those offset like that, but the little holes are lined up. Okay, and that can sit aside for a second. What are you doing right there? Okay. I knew there was a little tab right there and it was bugging me. It was just bugging me real bad. Really bugging me. Sometimes perfectionism is a pain. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I made a peppermint, and the way I made the peppermint was to cut this little tiny circle from the gingerbread dies in basic white, and this little tiny peppermint swirl in real red, because that's the color of my peppermints, red and white. Those are my pony's favorite color. They don't really care for the chocolate ones or the chocolate mint ones or the green mint ones. I mean, they just don't like them. They like red ones. Thank you very little. Don't mess with perfection, Mom. All right, and then we're just going to adhere that like so and let that set for a second. Now, here comes, I'm going to take a little bit of baker's twine, and you're going to try to stick it through that little hole. And sometimes it works the first go like that, and sometimes it does not, but that time I got lucky. Phew, how did that happen? Okay. Now I'm just going to tie a little bow, tie a little bow, tie a little bow. I think I'll tie an overhand knot first and then a little bow. It'll make it much easier, much more easier to do. Okay, like so. Now, y'all, I have to tell you, don't forget that this is Small Business Saturday, and Stampin' Storage has got a heck of a good sale going, and they've still got 15% and free shipping on domestic orders over 100 through the 29th. So take advantage of that. And then we've got also, they've got Cyber Monday will be on, Monday. All right, so I've got my little bow, and I'm going to cut my little tails like so. And then I think I will use did I use a glue dot? Yes, I think I used a glue dot. I'll use a glue dot here to adhere it to the top of the card. It's not a card, it's still a box. It will never be a card. It will always be a box. Gosh, Mary, make sure I'm doing it on the top. Okay, got a little jiggy there with it. And then I'm going to take a dimensionale. You knew I would get a dimensional in here somewhere. Okay, just one though. We only need one. Right there. Boop. Boop. Boopy boop. De boop de boop. Boopity boopity boop. And we'll put it right there like that. There. Isn't that just so stinking cute? Aw. A little tiny 1.5 by 1.5 inch box, or you can go all the way up to 2 3/4. Now, if you want to make this tag, going to use the ornament die, the ornament tag die in the gift giving die set and run it through with a tailor-made, the size that works right. You'll find it. There's really only just one or two that work. Run it through at the same time, and then you can run the big tailor-made tag through on basic white. And then I cut a little reinforcer and adhered them all together, and then strung some baker's twine through. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and everything will be on the blog tomorrow, so you'll be able to recreate at will. Money folded would be perfect. I absolutely agree. You could make 25 of these and make them into an advent calendar. Use playful alphabet and put numbers on the top. I think you could do that because they're really not very hard to make at all. Great way to use up little scraps of DSP. Okay. All right, guys, I appreciate you very much. And don't forget to get entered for blog candy. We'll see you guys on Thursday for my YouTube at 1 o'clock. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.